Hey, David with the Freeze Dried Business channel. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm starting kind of a new blog. I'm not going to do any type of editing with my video, and I'm going to cut it into different chunks, but I'm not going to edit out things, so bear with me as I'm thinking on the fly sometimes. But I wanted to give you a glance at kind of what my life looks like as a freeze-dried business owner, because I've been growing this channel for almost a year now. I published my first video on July 28th of 2022. And I just wanted to show you kind of what my life is like as a side hustle freeze-dried business owner, because some of you will relate, some of you may not, but you're interested in seeing kind of what you're about to step into. And some of you are just doing this research. So by the way, back in March of 2020, my wife was 3 months pregnant with our first kid. And we had some different turmoil in our jobs. Things were very uncertain. In fact, my wife lost her job and was terminated over a Zoom call. It was pretty interesting times. The reason I'm wearing this Papa John's polo is I had done pizza delivery before, and I decided to pick up that job being pizza delivery for a little while just to make ends meet, be able to, just earn a little bit side income. I'm always trying to find ways to make additional income. And, that's what you got to kind of look at this freeze-dried business world as is, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to earn, a couple $100s every single month so you can go and, take a nice vacation with your family or yourself? Are you trying to actually make it more that you can actually pay some expected bills that you need to pay? Whether that be a new cell phone that you want to buy, covering daycare, which is kind of on my side of things. Daycare is pretty expensive. And so you got to kind of decide what you're trying to do, and you can do it. Just set a goal for yourself and say, hey, I'm actually only looking to make, a couple grand a year. I don't want to pay a ton of taxes. I don't want to earn a ton of more money to increase my taxable income. So I'm just trying to get some more side hustle. Or maybe you're actually trying to grow something that's sustainable, that's more long-term, something that you can build upon, that's a legacy type of company. So when I first started out in 2020, I was doing this pizza delivery job. I actually really enjoy it. And in March of 2020, I had a friend of mine who was a firefighter, and some of the people that he worked with had a freeze dryer, and he started kind of just piquing my interest. We were working out together, and he said we were working out together, and he said, hey, have you looked at this freeze drying type of thing? Because, both him and I and our wives were kind of working together, and both of them had kind of lost their job in this March 2020 part aside. Things were shutting down. You couldn't travel anywhere. And so we kind of looked on Etsy and looked at this kind of craze of freeze drying candy. And I was like, wow, freeze drying Skittles, freeze drying Jolly Ranchers, freeze drying some of these candies. And wow, people are charging way more than what it costs to actually just buy it out of the store. And that's what you got to look for. I mean, me buying a polo that just says, an emoji with a thumbs up off of Etsy, someone's making money off of that. There's nothing new. There's nothing different. He doesn't own, or she doesn't own, that emoji, that thumbs up on Etsy. They just decided to create a business selling emojis, and they put in the work to make sure that I would see that if I searched for emoji t-shirts on Etsy. They're doing the effort to make sure that that is drop shipped to me and all that type of thing. So what it takes is I did see that people were doing the freeze drying side of things, but it seemed like an expensive, but not as expensive as maybe starting a franchise or investing in some type of lease space. So a freeze dryer was $4,000. I split it with my friend. So we basically decided to invest in this freeze dryer. And within a couple months, we had the name, we had the LLC created, we had all of our product that we were going to start out with. We created the Facebook accounts, the website. We figured out everything. And after spending that $4,000 on the freeze dryer, and then about, I'd say with the storage containers and all the tools and everything that you need to start, our total investment was probably about $7,000. So $3,500 each. And that was an expensive cost, just given that my wife and I were just beginning to start a family. Our son was being born soon. And also, you know, our kind of hours in terms of all of our jobs were kind of cut in half. And so we weren't making as much, but we were willing to do it. And in a matter of 3 weeks, we kind of started at the right time. We started right around Thanksgiving, at the end of Thanksgiving and into Christmas. And we contacted all of our friends, family. We got some publicity through some Facebook pages. And basically we paid back all of that within the first month. And then we went into a slow period. So we got all excited, and we bought actually another freeze dryer. So that was freeze dryer number 2. So we didn't actually pay ourselves any money, but January, February comes around slow. And we're like, man, we just bought this freeze dryer because we had this huge craze. And I'm sure if some of you are in this and you have had some success, you're probably in the same boat that we had, which is you basically kind of get really excited. You've paid back your freeze dryer, your initial one. You go out and buy more stuff, and then all of a sudden the sales slows down. That's typical, because you get all excited, people are buying your stuff, but now you got to actually run a business. A business requires hard work. It requires marketing. It requires advertising. It requires hustle. If you're not going to advertise, it requires talking to people. It requires your time to go to trade shows, to network with people, to know which shows are coming up, you know, how you can get in there, and that type of thing. So anyway, long story short, that's kind of basically how we started. And now I'll just talk about, you know, what it's like for me today. So it's still a side hustle. In fact, the side hustle that I have works very well with me still having a full-time job with a good salary to support my family. But this business that I have, Freeze Dry Depot, it is a sustainable business. It's a sustainable business that can provide me enough money to accomplish my goals. And I've got my goals. One is I wanted to make sure that this was a cash flow positive business, that I didn't take on, I'm never going to take on any type of debt. And I'm going to make sure that I'm always paying off what I need to pay for, and I'm paying everything in cash. So that way I'm never outlaying any type of debt. I do have some goals too. I would love to have new packaging. I set forth some goals at the end of December, and if you want to watch that video, you can, but I laid out some goals for myself. One was I wanted to start a social media page. I want to start Facebook and Instagram for this channel. And I also want to do new bags for my business. So I want to create some more sustainable bags that are not the Kraft Mylar bags with windows, because with the fruit that I'm making, it's just not sustainable. The windows, no matter what you're using, it just isn't sustainable for having a nice shelf life for businesses like we're all creating. The sunlight, the oxygen just gets in there, and no matter what you do, it just doesn't have as long a shelf life as I think we can accomplish. And so we're going to have to find something new, and that's what I'm going to do. So this side hustle job, I actually really love this YouTube channel. I thank you, every single one of you who has subscribed, commented, liked, just watched one video, messaged me privately. All of you are awesome. I started this channel because I didn't get any type of help video-wise when I first started, and I was frustrated with that. And so it took almost 2 years from when I started, but last year I watched a YouTube video, and a guy said, if you want to start a YouTube channel, just start with doing 20 videos and publishing 1 time a week. And that's what I tried to accomplish, and I did that by, I think it was the first week of January of this year, 2023. And I just wanted to create videos that said, hey, here's how you do this. Here's the tools that make this really fast for you to do, because you may not know how to cut things like strawberries or the blueberry, the roller berry that I've shared before. Like all those tools, I didn't know that. And it could have made my life and my business run a lot more smoothly, and made my life easier. And so I wanted to create that channel. So I thank everyone for watching that. Now, where are we at? Well, we're at my commercial kitchen, and probably at least 2 to 3 nights a week, I am here at the kitchen, either prepping fruit because one, I just need to prep it for the next cycle because I'm pretty much running my freeze dryer 24/7. So fruit usually lasts about 36 to 48 hours. I already prepped some strawberries in here, and now I need to go put them in the freeze dryer. Well, the reason I'm here for probably going to be an hour, even though I'm shooting this video, is because like we all know with the Harvest Right, you got to press start. It's got to cool down. So I got to wait that long, and then I can put them in, and then I can make sure that everything is, somebody's yelling over there. And then I can make sure that the machine is going to start and the drain valve is closed, and then I can be on my way and go to sleep and just know that it's going to run up until probably the 48 hours from now or so. So today is a Monday night, so Wednesday morning or Wednesday during the day, at some point I'll come here and check on the strawberries to make sure they're all done. So that's my life right now. I already have the strawberries, like I said, and I've got some more trays that I washed, and I need to just make sure that they're in here. I'm gonna try to do some of these sweet peas that are frozen already, and that's because one of my goals, number 3, for this year was to do some type of new product, and that new product I wanted to do vegetables. Now I'm coming into the kitchen, and I need to start the freeze dryer. Like I said, it takes a lot of time to run a business, and I've got a family, so basically once the kids go to bed at around 8 o'clock, I'm deciding what to do. I'm either gonna be editing a video for this channel, I'm either gonna be researching, I'm slowly gonna be coming out with a website that will have more written form for you guys, and that way you can have more of a searchable area to find that, as well as YouTube and videos. So I've been working on that, just making sure that there are enough articles before I officially launch it. But then I'm also either choosing to go to the kitchen and prepping fruit, prepping ice cream, or I'm shooting a video, or I'm just making sure that things go into the freeze dryer. So that's kind of the day in the life of, well, the evening and the life for me. Again, this is Monday night, and I left around 8 o'clock. I'm gonna be here probably till about 9, putting in the strawberries, making sure the freeze dryer is gonna start. And that's one of those things with running a freeze-dry business from a commercial kitchen, is some of you might have questions about, hey, how do you just make sure that you're checking on the freeze dryer when it's done, or things like that. And I'm hoping that at some point Harvest Right does come out with some software that has Bluetooth or some type of upgrade to where you can know when your cycles are done, because as it stands right now, I have to pretty much kind of go off of what I've known in the past history of my freeze dryer cycles and say like, hey, for about 10 to 12 pounds of strawberries, I know that average time that it takes is around 38 to 42 hours. So really, I'm not gonna come back here until Wednesday morning at the earliest, maybe Wednesday afternoon. And so that gives the cycle plenty of time. And then when I come here, I warm up the trays, make sure that everything's dry, and then I store it in the buckets that I've got, and then I'll bag it later on. So it's just a revolving cycle. That's what it is for a side hustle. And it's a lot of fun. Honestly, it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. That's why I think freeze drying as a business is only gonna get more and more creative, more and more, maybe not more lucrative, because I think lucrative would indicate that not many people are doing it and there's just tons of money to be made. And if you don't get in right now, then it's gonna be super hard later. Or if you don't get in right now, you're missing out on a huge opportunity that not many people are taking advantage of. That's first mover stuff. And fortunately, here in Boise, I was the first mover with the freeze-dried business. And I did create a great brand. But there's been plenty of people that have come into this market that have either sustained here or they've gone away. And I'll tell you what, at least 2 people in this past 3 years have started right when I did, and then they've actually stopped and closed down their business. And the reason why is because when you get into a commercial kitchen, when you take that next step from cottage food to commercial, I'm only doing this for a certain level of wholesale orders, because that's all I can maintain for my full-time job, making sure I have a family life balance. So it's not that busy, but it's busy enough to where with one person and my wife helping me where she can and other friends and family kind of helping me where I can, but I'm doing the 90% of the job. And for most people, all of a sudden it just compounds when you have to drive to a location, when you have to drive to make sure that the freeze dryer is done, because you don't know, because the harvest rate doesn't have that. So you've got to come here, and if the freeze dryer isn't done, well, you just wasted a trip. So you got to make sure that you're taking the most advantage of whatever trip you just took. So are you going to bag product while you're here, while you're waiting for the freeze dryer? Are you going to prep fruit? And also you got to, do everything else. So those people shut down, and I've contacted them, and I've actually talked to them. And the reason they did is because they went into a commercial kitchen and it was just too much work. And it's, I'm sure that they could have made it work, but for the time that they were executing and trying to make things get going, it just didn't work out. And so look at that as you're starting your business, and have a goal for yourself. And like I've said this before about a commercial kitchen, you can find an affordable option. Go to one of my videos that I talked about the 10 steps that I would take if I was starting out a freeze-dried business today. I talk about some of the ideas that helped me get to where I am right here with this commercial kitchen. I've got a great rent, and it's affordable enough to where it doesn't eat into a ton of margins, because I've still got great relationships with my wholesale vendors. I still have a great amount of people buying from my website, buying off of Etsy, and so it's a lot of fun. So this is my first series on a day in the life of a freeze-dried business owner, David, and I appreciate you watching this. Thanks for bearing with me, as I have probably a lot of ums and different pauses, but I'm trying to just give you a very raw sense of what it's like in the day and night life of a freeze-dried business owner. Check out more of my videos if you want to. I've got a lot of good stuff, and I just did one on lemon heads. So go ahead and check out how to freeze-dry lemon heads, and whether it's a successful one or a failure there. So take care. We'll see you again next time.